Top of the morning to ya. Been one of those mornings today already. Holy smokes. Squeaking in a little bit late here this morning. Had a crazy technical glitch, but plowing through it. It happens, you know. Welcome to the world of the unstable internet that everyone's happening on right now. Happy Saturday morning to you. Let me finish this little wet painting here, and I'll say hello. I'm autographing a book. This is what I do when I autograph each book. I'm not sure if that was a great idea or not when I started this, but you know what? It's kind of fun. It kind of gives it a little personal touch. I think my music just quit. It's been one of those mornings too. Well, what happened to you? Oh, I hear the orchestra coming in there somehow. Let's see. I don't know why these comments are all popping up here and populating on the page, but let me get back here. I've had to reset my entire page, so let me say good morning to you. Let me stop just for a second here, and I'll do that. Let's go to here. See if I can say hello. Sort of looking at the screen a little bit here. Whoops. Let's see if that'll work. Lori Stanley Henderson, good morning to you. Donna Sale Barton, good morning to you. Thank you. Shanlin, Tamberly. Tamberly, I think you sent me a note about a board or something. And forgive me, I have had email down for about, how many days? I don't even know. Several days, and had to erase entire everything on my computer and upstart everything. It's been crazy. I think I have an old computer that's working like a new one. I had some glitches. I was ready to throw that baby out with the bathwater and have held on to it for a little bit. So, Tamberly, I think your note was about a board. Let me just get my board up here. Well, that won't work. Maybe I had a board up here. Oh, here it is. There we go. There we go. There's a board. That'll remind me in a minute to talk about that. Thank you. Bob from the shimmering cornfields in Iowa. Shimmering is a good word. Ah, man. Shimmering reminds me of aspen leaves for those friends in Colorado. Just that shimmering little look. Don't you love that? See, creativity should build on creativity. You with me today? The last hour I have spent solving why cameras weren't working here and starting this program again that I use to stream to you guys. So it has been a technical deal. The irony of this, I spent 20 minutes last night at a wedding speaking with a friend of a friend of a friend who is an IT guy. And he said, oh yeah, man, I wish I'd have known you could have called, and I'll just, go like, thank you very much. His name's Stuart, nice young man. And, but I didn't know this was a problem until even came in, hooked everything up last night. Looked like it started up fine. And then it didn't work this morning, such as it is. Randall Taylor Craven, hello. Bobby King, Jan Campbell, Kathy, Karen Bender, Victoria Board. Denise, thank you. Got a little mailing package from you. That was quite a surprise and fun. And I know it had some great things in it, and I've sorted through them a little bit, but I just ripped open the candy corn and ate it. Burr from 20 degrees in Nebraska. Holy smokes, Burr it is. And I still have on a spring shirt today. It was 80, maybe 80 degrees here yesterday in Charlotte. Went down to 60. Could get a little rain later before the weekend's over. Chris Whitaker, thank you. Ruth Fulton, Teresa Miller, John Robert Small, a creative thinker, of course, Elise McQuillan. Elise, I may have missed you on this show before, but because I don't remember your last name, but sometimes there's a lot of names that pop up here. Tina, welcome. Annette, thank you from Minnesota. I like it. I like it. Thank you for the syllable spelling that you do from this boy from East Tennessee. I love it so much. Okay, Petra Gunther, is it Gunther? Terry Tardy, good morning to you from Coos Bay. Tamberly Marie, hello. Oh, you said I'm having someone make me a board and I forgot the size. You know what? It doesn't matter. Just tell them to give you a board. This one is, let's see. This one is just a little bit bigger than 9 by 12. There it is right there. Here, well, let me just get you a desk shot and show you. There it is right there. There's the board. It's a little bit larger. This is a 9 by 12 pack of paper. This board's a little bit bigger than 9x12. I do these boards when I want to just clothespin or CP47, a piece of paper on there, and I want to move outside real quickly, and I just want to paint something, sketch outside. It's better than holding a split. Plus, this fits in one of my briefcases, okay? The other board that I use is, wait a minute, I'm getting it. I got it. Hold it. This other board that I use is this big, and it's, well, let's just measure it. Good grief here. Let's solve this problem right now. Make this happen here. Let's see. Let me swing this page over here. Hold on one second. I'm coming back. I'm still rearranging my my desktop that just got blown up here in a restart computer mess. So apologize. Thanks for letting me be. Here it is. It's almost 7 by 10, about 7 by 10. And see what I did here on this one? I just put a little thumb hole right there. And look, and they're going like, you know, that poor guy. We should get him a new tape because his measurements are off. He could have put it in the center. I didn't want it in the center. I wanted it here. So my hand could rest on it like this. And notice that the hole is not completely round either. I sort of round the hole out with a file on this side that looks a little bit like the shape of my thumb. So there you go. Can you see that? So my thumb just sort of rides right there. It doesn't go down in it. That'd be uncomfortable. It just sort of sits there, but it makes it stiff in my hand. So see that? This sits here. You know, it's all these things that you just go, make it work for you. Look at that. That works. So how did I know where to drill that hole? I just went like this, went, oh, penciled it, drilled it. That's about a 3/4 inch hole, maybe 5/8, 3/4 from my big old thumb. Clamp a little piece of paper on there, something like this, and you're good to go. And you're off and running. I carry that outside, set my cup of tea down. Don't have to worry about the undulations of the table. I can also take this and turn it upside down, blow across it. So that's why I use little boards like this. I use as many creative things as I can to have tools to go outside and play, so to speak, okay? Let me hit, gosh, I got pages hidden all over the place. Here we go. Let's see if that works. That works. Okay. Whoops. Look at that. Left my shortbread in the picture. I'll have to tell you about that. That's some shortbread this morning. Jackie, hello to you. Ina, Lydia, Pat, thank you. Trish, welcome. Virginia, Ann, Jacqueline, Adelise, thank you for being on the show. Buenos dias. Rise and shine. Thank you. Dolores Bolin, Jacqueline Myers, Fern, thank you for being on the show this morning. All right. So let's get going here. Mickey, I see your name. Pat Brooks, thank you. Lee Patkus, hey, brother, just sent you a note. I appreciate you. Pam Patterson. All right. Victoria said the only thing shimmering here is her watering eyes. A skunk woke her up. Yeah, that'll do it, man. Tomato juice. You need tomato juice. Sprinkle it around on everything he sprayed. That'll kill it. What does that say about us eating it? Oh, anyway. All right. Mary Jones, hello to you. Heather, Pauline, Kim Sheets, morning up in Salisbury. Haiti, Teresa, Retha. I love watching you on Saturday mornings. Thank you. I like Saturday mornings. Sometimes I'm going to shift to Fridays every now and then, but I think I've got a class that's going to come up on Fridays next month. I think I'm going to do maybe a Tuesday, Friday. I'm looking at that. Maybe it's a Monday, Friday. Maybe it's a Monday, Thursday. I don't really know. I'm sorry. Sad, isn't it, when you too many irons in the fire? Okay. I love it, though, because I'm a blacksmith. All right. So some of you would be happy to know that I sent out, Diane, I think you're on that list. I sent out some Roo 100, little Roodoodles 100 cards yesterday, and I got a few more to go, and I will finish that up before Thanksgiving. All of you should have your Roo 100 cards. They're coming. It has been a process to sit down and do that. All right, so here we go. Good morning to you. Got a little music in the background. Got some Builder's Tea on the deck. There it is right there. In my new mug. Yes, I'm drinking out of my new mug. Look at that. You got a Roo head on it. I've got a few of those left. I think there may be 20 or 30 mugs left. They're on Roodoodles.com. And so feel free to jump on there and grab one of those. And I'll get it shipped to you as soon as I can. I'm trying to wrap them really well. Out of all those that I shipped, it looks like one of them didn't make the grade, and so I just got this great photograph. Oh, it was a great photograph. I'm going, what did the post office do to this mug? They ran over it, I think, with one of their trucks. But it was kind of fun. You know what? You just take it and roll with it. All right, I need a little of this turquoise in here to put here, like so. I always sign my books like this. This kind of makes them kind of fun for me. Roo, and then I put a little turquoise in this R, just like this, and a little bit of a splatter like this. And it needs a little bit of green paint, just to have him grounded here like this, and I'll sign it to the person that's getting this one. You can find the books at, you can get it on Amazon. Hey, Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow? That's the book right there. That's what it's called. It's about, if it comes with splatters and paint all over it, you'll know I've had my hands on it and taken care of it. But it's a creative book on taking a field trip with your peeps around the farm and being creative with what a wheelbarrow is. There's an old green wheelbarrow like this in my backyard. So books shouldn't come too far from what you're thinking, what you're planning, and what you create in your world of art. Michael, and then I'll do Roo up here when I do 2 with a note. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of the way. Let's paint something this morning. Hey, I will send you the recipe. This is not her normal shortbread. It's not the pie-shaped pieces she does in her old shortbread pan. This is Brittany butter from France, and she made this yesterday for a small wedding party. Went over and served all the people in the wedding. She made cucumber cream cheese sandwiches, and she is Crayola. She is Carol Ann. She is Carol, my wife. She does this for friends, not as a paid thing. This is just a dear friend. And so she went over to encourage small wedding party that we hung out last night. I'll show you a piece of video. And yes, I painted at the wedding. I tell you, I do, and I always do. So I took proof. But she sprinkled a little granulated sugar on top and lets that just crystallize. So this is shortbread. So I'm going to have a little piece of that in a minute here as I get going with my tea. But I thought I'd do a different painting for you this morning on Kilimanjaro paper. And that means I'm going to have to open this. It's a brand new one. I've had it here for, almost a month. And I just haven't popped it open yet because I've been doing such small works. But this is grams per square meter, the weight of the paper equivalent to 140, Michael talks about. And that would be 300 GSM. 300 GSM is 140 paper. Don't you love this sound? Listen to this. Time for TTT, Terry Tardy says. Terry Tardy, I almost put that in my list of supplies. Those of you who subscribe to my Facebook page, or excuse me, not my Facebook page, but subscribe to my newsletter, which I don't send out often, but I'll send you. I just sent out the supply list of everything that I use. 98% of all the tools that I use went out in that list. That doesn't make you a better painter. It doesn't make me a worse or a better painter. It doesn't. It feels good to share things like that, but at the same time, start with what you have, and then as you want to go into art store and talk in, yes, 140 pound or 300 GSM if you're reading it from the metric. I think that's right. Look at that. Says it right on the front. Ta-da! So there it is. Not 300 pound. That's a serious piece of watercolor paper. Okay, so here's what I love. Look at this. This is all created. This is brand new. I'm opening up a brand new piece, and this is a watercolor block. Okay? This is a block. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's a little art lesson for you today. This is a block. This is glued here, 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 and all the way around. It's glued, except for one little spot right there. And you might can see the color in that. You got glue, and then there's the white paper, and then there's glue. Here's what's great about watercolor blocks. You can actually paint with a little more water without taping your paper down. You can paint on the actual block itself. Okay, that's what it was made to do. And because the edges are glued down, it keeps them from buckling and rolling up when you're doing that, okay? Ruth, you missed subscribing to the newsletter. You know what? You can still go do that. And there's a link on my Facebook page. I think it says, I don't know, it says something, Ruth. It says, oh, flow desk. That's what it says. I'm going to move this camera over a little bit because it's still taking me a little time to get situated this morning from my, there we go. I think that's a little better shot for you. Still getting situated from just having everything torn up and having to go through some technology issues. So, hey, I'm producer, director, and camera crew all in one. So thanks. All right. So somewhere up here, I have a palette knife, but I don't even see that now because I've had my desk apart. So I'll just take my pocket knife this morning, and I'm going to go in this little section right here, and I'm just going to grab this paper. And rip it right off like this. Okay. All right, now there may be a piece that comes off the top of this one. If it does, I'll get it off later. I won't waste your time doing that. So take a look at this. Pristine, bright white Kilimanjaro paper. This is 100% pure rag cotton or cotton rag. It is fabulous. It's acid-free. It's glued on 4 sides, so that's called a block. If it's just glued at the top on one side, it's called a pad. So when you go in to buy your art supplies, you go, ooh, I want a pad because I want to just flip through the pad really fast. This would be a pad right here. This would be a pad. It's Bristol board, but look, this is a pad, see? Just glued down at the top right there. That's normal. You see that in clipboards, notebooks, legal pads. That's a pad. Pads are good if you just want to rip a piece off and hand it to somebody. Blocks are great if you've got a studio set up where you can work on a painting and then come back and get it or come back to it and then let it dry completely here. Then take your palette knife or a butter knife. Works better than a sharp pocket knife because you can cut the painting. Be careful. And you'll come back. I think I got a sneeze coming on here, so give me just a second. I am so sorry. It's allergy time for me here. People have them in the spring. I have them in the fall. You can hear it in my voice. I sound like I've got the radio voice on today. It's FM 99. All right, so here we go. Now you got the understand. So this is a block, watercolor block. Now, sitting on the bay, Brenda. Well, gosh. Okay. Good mute. All right, here we go. Let's do a little painting here. Why don't I use a medium nib, or maybe this is a light. This is a light nib Pilot Kakuno pen I paint with a lot, and I'm just going to do a bigger root today. Let's do something that I got some. Now that I've sent out all those painting lists, I want to show you some other paint that I didn't put on there just for fun. Isn't that just like a cantankerous artist? Yes. All right, here we go. Don't want to use a pen for this? I think so. Okay, here we go. How about a big Roo just looking out in that direction? There's his beak. He's looking up this morning. He's things are looking up. There's big old, he's big size, okay? And then I'm just going to watch this. I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to do his leg down like I normally draw a lot of these. This is sort of my go-to Roo. You know what I'm saying? This is sort of, you have a go-to Roo. All right, and so let's see. Let's do his other leg dropped here just a little bit, and it'll be here. Sit back a ways, so that way that means the dirt's coming like this. He's heading down the road. There he is right there. Now, notice I didn't do any more. Just some rough little scribbles in here, but I'm not going to do any more to the tail. I'm just going to let the tail be water and paint, okay? So it should be a fun painting to do here. I'm just going to leave this piece of watercolor. There's another piece of watercolor paper that I think is 11 by 14 maybe, okay? So sometimes I do some big, wow, here's a piece that's bigger than that. I got watercolor paper all over the place. I'm going to move that piece because I might want to paint on that later. Okay, this is a big piece. This is, I don't know how big that is. That's probably 15 by 18. All right. It's added histamine for me today. Here we go. All right, here we go. Is your fountain pen a medium nib? Judy, that pen is a fine point nib. This is a medium, this is fine, and then somewhere in my bug out bag right here, which I took with me last night to the wedding. Actually, I took this. Here it is right here. This is an ultra fine there, or extra fine, I think they probably call it. So this was the bag I took with me last night. But I left most of it in the car, but in my suit pocket. Yes, I was wearing a suit. I actually, I wonder where my napkin was. There it is, for my shortbread. Put it in my pocket. Thought I had a little pinky flower in there. So I took most of this in, took a couple brushes. It was pretty fun. I'll show you what I painted. The lady who did the flower arrangements, we were sitting with her. She's a dear, dear friend. And we're all masked up. And we did she said, oh, I was watching you paint the other day, and I want to get one of your shrimp. And so I did her a little card shrimp at the table last night. All right, so here we go. So fountain pens, and those will be listed on if you subscribe, that'll be listed on that list. All right, here we go. So I got this big roux, and watch this. I'm going to go grab some, this says India ink. Woohoo! That ought to be messy. Okay. Is this this Bombay? This is carbon black. I didn't even know I had that India ink. That's pretty cool. Here is, this is Dr. P.H. Martin's. Can you see that label? Dr. P.H. Martin. It's called Hydrus. And this is not ink. This is liquid watercolor. Liquid watercolor. And this is permanent red. And this is, you better be Gambogi. Yes, there it is right there. Okay, so those are the three colors that I started with. And there they are right there, okay? A little shadow coming from them. I'll set them over here. And so here's what I'm going to do. This is always fun to watch, so pay close attention. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And here we go. I'm going to get rid of this paint right here. Just close down my normal palette and just go with these four colors this morning, okay? It's Saturday morning. You know, we get what we get. And I'm going to grab a bigger brush. I'm going to grab, let's see. I'm going to grab something that's like a flat brush right there. And maybe a bigger bamboo brush. There you go. And I'll keep a small one out here to do a little detail with if I need to. All right, so there we go. That's what the storehouse looks like. You got it? All right. Here we go. Grab a little bit of clean water and just go in. And I think what I'm going to probably do first is I'm going to just let the tail happen. I usually do the tail first to keep getting my hand in it, but I think this will be more fun to watch. So here we go. It's time to get started. So I'm just taking some water on this brush and just letting it flow in. You really can't see where it's going, and honestly, neither can I. So I'm going to turn this up and see if we can get a little bit of a shimmer on it. There it is. See it right there? So you do see that I'm sort of painting in the direction of the tail feathers. So I'm letting, you know, I'm not just throwing water on there and hoping for the best, but I'm going to blow it around a little bit anyway. Putting a little water up in here. Remember, I'd use this thing I call holidays. So here's what holidays are. Holidays are those little white spaces that give light and life to the art. It's this white paper showing through. Somebody painted something on the painting class, and I'm so sorry I forgot your name right now, but you posted a vase or a bottle with flowers in it. And the bottle itself looked fantastic because you left the white showing through, and you had a little bit of that blue tint, green water, and the flower stems, but it was just the bottle and the page. Don't forget, your paper is the color white. Don't block it all in and then try to go put white in. Let your painting breathe. If you learn anything from me at all, start simple and small and loose, and then let it build on top of that, okay? All right, here we go. I'm talking and I'm not paying attention, but look what's happening to this ink. Can you see what's happening? Where I put the ink in there, it's beginning to get its own little color going already. All right, here we go. I'm going to take a little bit of this ultramarine blue. Just be careful with these colors if you ever have them. This is P.H. Martin's liquid watercolor. I'm just going to do a small drop right here. Boom. And maybe one more little drop right. Maybe I'll just touch the dropper down right there. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this up a little bit and let the paint run into the water. Look, just letting it flow in there a little bit. Okay. Now I'll probably take a smaller brush, maybe a little this is a number 8 round, and I'll probably just start picking some of that up. I could even blow it a little bit, but I got to be careful because the shirt I'm wearing today doesn't need to have blue paint on it. Okay, so you think, gosh, how does he get that loose tail on those birds? I don't. I let the water do that with this paper. This is the surprise of watercolor. This is the thing that most people go, it's so uncontrollable. You go, yes, it is. That's what I love about it. It's constantly creating itself. All right. So let's take a little bit of red. Let's go in here and touch it right in here and here. I don't know what I'm listening to this morning. It sounds like piano jazz from the other side of the tracks or something. It's a strange thing. I'll grab my little Gambogi, put a little bit of yellow here, and then just let a little yellow drop right in there. Boom, like so. Might drop a little right here, see if I can get a little bit of green coming through. Watch this. Boop, there's the spot. And then I'll come in with that red and drop a little piece of that in there too, just because the body of this needs to have some red in it. Oh, man, that was a shot, wasn't it? I need another shot of this yellow. There's a good shot of yellow. And then what about a little bit of this carbon black? I think that's what this is. We'll find out in a second, won't we? Oh, there went more than I needed. All right. Ding. All right, took off there, flew into it. So now I'm going to take this and put a little black in the tops of these feathers or in the bottoms, whichever I choose. Let it come down like this and let that blue show through. Look at that right there. That's giving it some grit. And look what's happening right here. Can you see this? I'm going to go in on that just a little bit with the camera, okay? Because this is kind of the fun thing to see. Look what's happening right here. You see all this mess that's happening right here? This is the stuff that I love about watercolor right here. This is the stuff that makes me go, look what is happening down here. And notice I'm not really stroking this or painting this. I'm just using my brush as a little bit of a, like you would, I could almost use the handle of it. Look, turn it around and just kind of go in here and push some of these colors around. I'm using the back of my brush. People say, oh, your brushes must be so important. I'm like, both ends, okay? Now, what I'm getting here is when I'm bringing this black through this red into this yellow, I'm getting the most awesome spots of brown down here that you can imagine. I love the way it looks. All right, now, rinse off the handle or I'll have it all over me and everything else. Let me find my blotter. Where is it? Here it is right here. Little paper towel. Clean off the back of my brush. Then I'm going to go back in with a number 3, and I'm going to catch a little bit here and come down this back with some feathers up here. And I think I want a little bit of some color coming down through here like this right in here. So drop a little bit of that in. Just taking my brush, rolling it in the color here, and then just laying it in here like this. Look, now I'm beginning to see my paper buckle just a little bit. Here's why. There's a lot of water going into this painting, okay? I'm pouring the water to it. But guess what? Because it's a block, it's staying down, okay? So some of you fear putting too little water. Some of you use too much water, and your paint looks like it went through the surf and you rode it into the beach. So give it a little bit of life as you do. And look what happened right here. Do you see that? See that little spot that just showed up there that I didn't fill in? Okay, that's called a holiday. I left another one right there. Clean out this brush a little bit, just a little damp, and I'm going to come in and grab this yellow Gambogi. Gamboge. Now that red ran up in there, so I'm going to touch it. And then I'm going to go down here and get some clean yellow on my brush right here and just pick it up like a vacuum and go in there and touch it one more time. And then I'm just going to touch it right here. And I want to rough those edges up. I don't like the neck being so smooth. So you see, it really didn't matter what pen I used, but I used a medium because I wanted it to bleed out a little bit. So I suddenly have the body of this rooster. You couldn't see that last part, I'm sorry, but because I remember moving in now. Someday I'll have a show that I'll hire a producer, and he goes, just paint, you knucklehead, and I'll get you the audience to see what you're seeing. Okay, so look, I'm going to go right in here, and I'm going to grab some of this yellow and red, and I'm just roll my brush in it like this. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to paint the legs in that. So I'm using my bird as the palette. Remember, I close my paints down. I'm not reaching over and grabbing these. They're shut down. Those are Cheap Joe's American Journey. Even though I got this stuff at Cheap Joe's too, it's, they sell all kinds of paint. So just enjoy looking through their catalog and tell them Roo sent you. Okay. I love that spot right there. Do you see that as a drop of water hit? Can you see that little star spot? That's pretty awesome. This brush had a little bit of yellow in it, which is going to mix in with that blue and black and look like it put some real light green feathers in there. Man, can you imagine just being able, and you're going to do more than imagine. You're going to be able to take whatever it is you're painting. If it's a bouquet of flowers, and the lady I was sitting with last night, Laura said, I want to paint flowers. I said, oh, that surprises me because you are a flower arranger. She goes to these giant houses and to gardens, to farm gardens, and she buys the flowers and she envisions how they're supposed to look on the tables. And I brought I think I have a photo of one to show you here in a second. In fact, I'll run that in just a second. While this dries for a second. Let me just do that right now. All right, so here's what happened to me last night. Ordered from Cheap Joe's yesterday. All right, Kelly, great job. Love your holidays in this Ruth. Oh, thank you very much, Pat. They just stay there and look at all the brightness that pops up. And you think, well, did you not want to paint that? But when you look at it and you see it on the wall, you suddenly realize, oh no, that's probably light hitting feathers, or it's light feathers inside there, both light, okay? Somehow, if you just make a big block like this and your whole painting is that way. Now, I understand if you're painting a Maureen chicken or if you're painting a dog that's just all black, but even a black dog sitting in the sun is going to have some shimmer and it's going to look like some white shining through. Light is an amazing thing. Remember this, trees are not all green, okay? They're about 8 kinds of green and browns and reds and blues. And let me see if I can get to this right here and I'll show you what I did last night. You get a kick out of this. See if it plays. This is Carol and I having fun, and yes, she's the one in the middle in the boots dancing. That wouldn't be me. All right. So you got to admit that's kind of fun, huh? And so there we were all messed up. And, we felt very excited to be there. There were family. And then there were a table where we were, the folks who did the flowers, a longtime family friend, and then my wife who had constantly encouraged this bride to be an artist. And who is now a flight attendant and met a guy on a plane there living in New York. Anyway, it's a great, great story. We know their family. Have known them for about 20 years here, but we went to a small wedding. And so I do what I do. Carol dances because that's her doing her thing. And I find a place behind the bouquet. And the lady sitting across from the bouquet was who the shrimp was for. She said, I love your shrimp, but I want to learn how to paint flowers. And so she walked down and got a coffee, and she came back. I gave her the shrimp. So I painted a couple little cards last night at the table. It was sort of fun, caught up with people. It was absolutely amazing to be out and about, and how fun is that, right? Okay. So I want you to see that just as I get out a little bit and take a look at what's happening here. I'm using, oh, I'm a village idiot. Okay, so take a look at what's happening here. I'm using my brush with just some clean water, and I'm reaching in and I'm getting some color from the roux itself to create the shadows and the ground, okay? So see that? I still haven't opened a palette. I'm painting actually from the painting. Want a little more shadow? Look, just roll my brush in some of this wet paint. Go down here, bring it underneath his foot right there. There's a little bit of a shadow. Want a little shadow on this tail? Look here. Can come in there, get a little bit of that green and black. I'll come back with a pen in a minute and sharpen these edges on the feet. Watch what will happen here when this dries just a little bit, okay? I'm going to clean this all up in a few different ways. But I think you get an idea. Now, there's a buckle coming through this because I've used a ton of water, a lot of water for me even. But it's still glued down on four sides, so when it dries, what's going to happen is it's going to frame as flat as a pancake. It's going to look perfect, I promise you. Now, if I wanted to just get a little bit of black and do a couple little beauty splatters, I can get it out right here. And then take my other brush and just go in here and type very lightly, and I get some little splatters right up in there. If I wanted to get a little bit of sky in here, I'd go pick up some of this blue, and I'm tapping very lightly. I'm not trying to overdo it here. I'm not on a mission to do something I don't need to do. But I might come in here and get some of this red-brown right here and just give the earth a little bit of dirt along here. Okay? So there we go. I'd say that rooster's done. And so now I'm going to grab a pen. I'm going to grab a piece of shortbread first. Oh, man. That is so good. Hey, I'm going to put the recipe out by the end of the week on my Ruse Crew newsletter. Okay, it'll go flying out. All right. Here's the number 7 pintail right here. So I'm going to come in, and while this is still a little damp, I'm going to come in and just do a few sprigs of grass in here. I'm going to put some toenails on this roux, and I'm going to put some veining in his feet like this, and maybe a little spur. There's his back foot right there. I like these little spikes. It gives me a little bit of detail, still in something that's very abstract. This is an abstract rooster. It's whimsical, it's abstract, but guess what I'm doing right here? I'm putting a little bit of detail in that just, for me, maybe it's a self-confidence thing of just saying, you know, I can do that when I want to. I do this often from time to time. Watch. This is class stuff, but I'm going to show you. Look, I take the pen itself. This is on the list. And I'm going to just go in here to the paint and literally just take this pen and push it through the paint into some of the areas that I want to fill in a little bit, like so. Okay. So I'm really using my pen as a tiny paintbrush. I'll use anything as a paintbrush. Remember, these are the best ones. These are the ones God gave us when we were in Miss Wilson's 3rd grade class. Miss Skelton's 3rd grade class. Miss Wilson was 5th grade. Okay. It's hard to get those teachers straight all the time. Miss Peters was 4th grade. Maybe the best teacher I ever had. Miss Slusher, she was 6th grade. She drove a Stingray. It's true. She was a trip. I wonder what she's doing today. She was a wild woman. I remember that when I was in 6th grade. I'm like, whoa, this woman is something else. She introduced the 6th grade to leather jackets. Hers. All right. Whoa, I like this rooster. I like him a lot. All right, man, how fun it is to paint sometimes a bigger roux. This guy, this guy's going to get a real hopeful one of my favorite comments today. I can just see it already on here. His eye looks a little bit skeptical there, but I'm going to put a little, there we go. Change that eye up a little bit. Come in here. Put some dots here. A couple spots. I'm going to post him today. I promise you. Hey, David Snitzer. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you're on the show today. Hey, man. Here, let me show you my new mug, Snitz. Take a look. Can you see that? Oh, no, there's the camera right there. There we go. Look at that rooster head. Yeah, he's up on the wall here. Hey, Snitzer, you know about coffee mugs, right? You and Chip, you're my coffee buddies. This mug, of course, I always tell people it weighs 1 pound and almost 5 ounces. Takes both hands for some people to hold it up, but it keeps your hands warm, keeps the liquid warm long. You can milk one goat in it. You can pour hot bacon grease in it, put it right in the fridge, and spoon that out later for gravy. And if someone takes your purse at 25 feet, you can stop them in their tracks and get your purse back. All right. So good to have you on the show. Yes, tail feathers are fun, aren't you? And that just happened. You know, I'll do that one more time this morning so you can see it happen. It just happens. I got time to do 2 of these, but look at this one. This one's going to say one of my favorite captions that Carol wanted me to use a long time ago, and I do it from time to time. And here it is. It's going to come right here on this. And I'm going to do it in this pen right here. By the way, writing on 100% rag cotton with a fountain pen, you'll have to get used to. You have to work at it a little harder because this paper has some amazing cold pressed undulations. It is cold pressed, remember? Okay, so there you go. There's the roo. It says, when the rooster crows, hope dawns. And that's a good thought. That's like waking up, you know, or whenever you hear him. If you hear it, you're alive. All right. Give me just a second here, and I'll see if my palette knife is here somewhere on this illustrious, organized desk. This also give me a chance to take another bite of my shortbread. Well, I don't see it so far, but let me look. It's not in my bug out bag, my purse. Rats. I was going to show you how easy this comes off with a knife. If you don't have one, we'll just get a butter knife, or I'll use a dull blade on my knife. This might work right here. All right, so watch carefully. Here we go. Remember, I've got it. This is very wet, so I would normally let this dry completely, but it's live, so let's make it work. So remember where I told you there was a little spot in the middle here, somewhere up here? There it is right there. I'm going to go in and get one page lifted up. And then I'm going to use this. I'm going to put some pressure down. Trying to be careful not to rip this. Slide it underneath. Go all the way around it just like this. Take a look. Just sliding it underneath. And I'm not cutting upward. By the way, this is not a knife blade. It's like a nail file on the end of my Swiss Army knife. Yes, Swiss Army knives have a nail file on them. It's pretty cool, actually. All right, so I'm sliding this all the way around, and then I'm going to let it pop off right here. Pop. Just in a minute when I turn this corner, it's going to break right there. And I have one loose piece of paper with a flat painting on it. And there it is right there. Ready to dry, ship, and frame, mat, hang on the wall. I'm going to do this one more time so you can see it, okay? All right. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to lay this in the floor. Give me a second here. Duck out of sight. Lay this down on the plate so I don't step on it. That's a nice roux. And so when I take the time and do a roux like that, that's something a little different than some of my quick ones that I normally just knock out and do. All right. Put your popcorn in bacon fat, Linda says. Linda, that sounds pretty doggone good, actually. You might try that Sunday night. Sunday night is when I have popcorn and apples. Pat says she uses her Swiss Army knife as well. Yes, you can. Mine stays so sharp on this side that I've been known to cut the edge of a painting. And so that's where you have to be careful. It's just the thing I have. I keep my knives extremely, extremely sharp. I actually whittle. When I whittle, haven't whittled in a long time. I think there's a little rooster up here that I whittled a long time ago. There's one of my little roosters right there. I whittle them out of birch bark. When I whittle these, I use a different style Swiss Army knife, but it is like a razor blade. I mean, and I also took this blade and I ground it into a fine little knife blade so I can get in here and do all these little fine pieces here. So I whittle these little roosters sometimes and stick them in wine corks, and they're kind of fun for your kitchen window. I do that in the wintertime when I'm never bored, but when I'm just sitting there for a little bit. All right, let me do a different roof for you this morning. Let me do, let's see, what should we do? Man, don't you love this paper? So here it is again. It's Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is Joe Miller's brand, and I started using it. This was the first paper I ever used. Actually, it was this paper. Oops, one of these. This paper right here was the first Kilimanjaro I ever used, and it's bright white. This is the original bright white. Well, both of these are, but this is called their paint book. And in fact, let me just do one on the paint book. I'll just do that today. I usually save this book for the shows or my painting classes, but I'll just do one today on this. This is kind of a fun little paper also. And on this, I can just rip this out. So this is a book that opens up if you want to use it as a journal also. Great paper here. Give me a little smaller roo to go with today. And I'm gonna stay with these paints. I just love them. I think I'm gonna let them run here. Let's see if we can do something else on here. Do a roo that has kind of more of a square look to him here, like this. Isn't it crazy? Just, sometimes just break the mold. Paint something completely different than you thought you were going to paint. Fun, huh? Sorry, these cast a big shadow. My light must be low today. I'm telling you, I've taken my whole office apart, so forgive me for all the discrepancies. But it's Saturday morning, so just stick with me here a little bit. I like this roo. He looks like he might be sneaking up on a bug here, so his legs coming back like that. Got a little bit of these lines coming down. Sometimes I just drop little, I have no rhyme or reason why I'm doing this. I just do it because it feels natural at the time. Let yourself go creatively and just go, hey, what if I did this? What if I did that? Folks, it's paper and paint. And tea and shortbread and sugar. All right, same process. A little smaller brush this time. Here it is right here. A little smaller. If this is anytime you see me pick up a brush like this that looks like a stick, it's bamboo. Okay. They even make ones with, no, that one's actually wood. I think I have a couple plastic ones up here, which feel weird in my hand, but they do the same thing. So I like small bamboo brushes. I really do. So I'm going to grab this one, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of that water, and I'm just going to put some water in here like this. And I'm going to try and show you an experiment on this one. Watch. I'm actually following the lines pretty carefully, sort of carefully, that I actually painted in here, okay? All right, so let's start there. Now, you don't ever start with the black first, because once you do, putting any other lighter color over it is not going to show up. So start with your lighter colors first. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow. What? And just touch it right there. Might touch a little piece right there too. I have no plan for this. Don't know where it's going to go, but I'm just going to let that spread out a little bit, just like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of red and touch that right in here too. And then I might take my brush with a little more water in it and just sort of sweep some of that together. Now the red's going to be powerful. It's really going to take over if I'm not careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this ultramarine blue. I'm just going to drop it in a place right there and just let it go where it needs to go. Okay? And then watch. I'm just going to take and roll my paper around like this and see wherever I put water, that's where my color is going to go. What have I said for 153 days? Paint with the water and then add the pigment or the color. It's water, color, water, color. Got it? All right. So, hey, some of you keep up with my friend Ash. I think he's in Atlanta today, walking again. He's walking today for a ministry called Capernaum. Capernaum, it's the little town in Israel where Jesus did a lot of things, but he healed a guy there. Remember if you're into Bible stories, you might remember that these guys let the guy down through the roof on a pallet. And so my friend Ash with some of his buddies was walking 9 miles today through the cities, downtowns of Atlanta, and they're carrying this pallet with them just to raise some money. Actually, it's not really a money raise. It's just awareness and to pray for some people. All their names of these people they've been calling in are written on the pallet. Kind of a cool thing. That dude is a mountain man on a mission. So I help him socially. He needs help socially. No, I help him just kind of keep up with some of the stuff he's working on. And it's always fun to keep up with him and tell you what he's doing. He's just out there, man. I love it so much. Sneaking up on his breakfast. Needs to be in a pair of sneakers. You know what, Mickey, you might be absolutely right. I think that'd be a great way to paint him. But I thought I might go there, but I might paint his breakfast out there too. So I'm going to put a little yellow right here and a little yellow right there. So see how I'm painting with these? I'm just using them to just... And here's the thing about liquid watercolors. If you want to try to be loose, you can do this with your palettes in your pans also. Look. Whoa! Glad I put the lid on that because I knocked it over. You could take this kind of paint and you can use a very wet brush and you could, how am I doing on time? 9:50. You can do a drop of paint on this also and then come back in and add the water. That might help you be loose. Some people feel like they have to have the paint just perfect, and then they go in and they tenderly do this. If that is your style, if you're a realist, dry watercolor, fine brush artist, please go there and love it. But if you want to loosen up just in your playful style to experiment, then this is the most fun way to do it that I have found. And I've been doing this for 650 years. Okay, so I embellish things just a little bit. I think 12 years to be closer. And I have found that this is a fun way for me to lighten up, loosen up, and learn how to watercolor paint. I need a little bit of green. I think I just need some green in this rooster right there. I'm going to put a little red or blue right there. Man, I don't even know my colors anymore. Might look like a Halloween Roo, but that would never be me. Couldn't do that. Okay. So, look, I'm going to pull some green out of here with that blue and just let it sweep in. I felt like I needed a little bit of green in here and let that run. I haven't even used black in this yet. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm just flicking the brush a little bit. You see this? With some extra water in it. You see what it's doing? It's sort of dropping some droplets along the side. That's a cool look right there. I kind of like how that's looking. Now I got to go find myself some yellow and orange. So let's see. Might have to bring in some, but there's a spot. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? That's a little too red for me, so I'm going to pull that pumpkin out. And then I'm going to get a little more yellow, and I'm going to drop it right on this leg right here and right here. Like so, just little tiny spots. And then I'm going to come in here. Isn't it weird? I'm a grown man and I'm talking to this paint. Makes me realize the world that Bob Ross lived in now. It was natural. It wasn't like he was trying to do anything. He's going like, hey, what if I do this? Whoa. So you start to talk to your paintings a little bit, and they tend to take on personality. This is kind of the style that I started painting with years ago, and so sometimes for about a month I'll just go back to it. And I just love it so much. I really love it. Throw your curveball. I'm going to get a felt tip pen right here. I'm going to put a little toe on this rooster first right there. This is an ultrafine flare. That's all it is. I need a little bit of orange right here just to finish that up. I'm going to go with this ultrafine flare right here, and I'm just going to cross hatch this. Look, I'm just drawing straight lines here. And then I'm going to come in and draw cross hatching like this. It's a quick, easy way for me to do the ground. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab a little bit of just water, and I'm going to let the pen bleed itself. There's no pigment here of watercolor paint. There's pigment in the brush. And I'm going to grab some of this green and come in back on top of that. And with that, it'll just create a nice little earth tone in there. Look at that. If I want a little brown in there, I could get some of this red and a little of this dark blue. And that's going to create a deeper green or brown. And then come in with this and you'll get some brown. See it coming in there? And then maybe a little bit of the dark, just a shadow underneath. Maybe that was too much. Now I'm going to let it stand. I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let it tail out there. That looks kind of cool. Okay. There's a little spot, doesn't need to be there, but I'll probably wind up splattering there in a minute, so I'll just take it out. Okay. I feel like I need just a touch more yellow. I'm using liquid watercolor, Jessica. Yes, it is P.H. Martin's. That's exactly what it is. It's of all the liquid watercolors, it has become my favorite. That doesn't mean it's the best one on the market there, but I like it better than ink. It flares a little different. India ink is severe and goes hard and fast, and I like using it sometimes. And I love having it in my pens. Could be the music, could be painting to this piano today that is making me just kind of wild and crazy. Okay, got a couple minutes to go. So there you go. See, Pat Brooks always comes through because Pat Brooks, look, I've seen a photo. Pat and I are working on a project too, which is going to be a fun book that if I ever do my part, she's really knocking her part out. I'm the guy who gets behind the eight ball because I'm doing some. I've been shooting some stories this week that are just phenomenal stories for the Charlotte Rescue Mission. Just people's lives who have been upside down and now are finding rescue, and they're being great. So I'm working hard on that. But Pat and I are working on this book project. That's some of the sayings from this show, just a lot of little things, and she's put them in form that we're going to put it in a book, but I think they're also going to turn out to be great prints or even posters for classrooms of just some of the things like, the holiday. Everybody should take a holiday, but people need holidays, but art really need it because they give art light and life. And I'm not saying it correctly now because it'll actually be printed. I'm just giving it to you off the top of my head. But holidays are important. Holidays are those white spaces that are left in art. We all need white spaces. And I'll tell you this: if you don't find at least 20 minutes, did you know that 857 is 20? 857 is 20, 758, 578, 587. No matter how you arrange those three, you get 20. So I painted 857. My class is called 857. 857 is easy to remember, but if you add up 857, it works. Maybe you just got 15 minutes. Then take 5 to fix your tea and do 15 minutes every day with your creative art and watch what happens to it in 6 months. It will change how you're an artist. It will change how you write. Work on an idea for a poem every day for 20 minutes and watch what happens. 20 minutes is an amazing amount of just space. White space is important. White space is important. Okay? Every now and then I just have to climb up on that apple box and preach, right? What I was going to say was, Pat has this one day behind the scenes. I saw this thing she did. She's got these 2 cabinets that look like an art store because she creatively creates different pieces and all. And so that's what sort of drew me to her style. It's so different than my style that I thought it'd be fun to collaborate. So that's why we're doing that. And you'll hear word on that coming as soon as we get things ironed out and I send her what she needs from me. And then she sends all that back to me. And then we do the layout and go through the publishing here. And then I'll keep you posted on it. So been a fun project to work on. Okay. Kelly, yes, 857 signups is closed in all October, but I think starting early as next week, there's going to be a sign up where you can sign up for November, and I'm going to do a week before Thanksgiving and a week after Thanksgiving. So I think they're set up on 2 days, like maybe a Monday, Thursday, and then after Thanksgiving, a Monday, Thursday in December. And I'm just going to do my Christmas stories, my Christmas ruse, my crazy trees and my ruse decorating, the Christmas story. I'm going to bring in the truth through that. So anyway, all right, so that gives you an idea of what I'm doing. I've got to get out of here. This painting needs to be finished. So let me put a caption on it. I'll sprinkle it, cut this off right here, sprinkle it, splatter it, spatter it, and here it is. It's like a good Presbyterian. I'll sprinkle it. And I don't know what his caption is going to be. I'm going to look at him for a minute, let him dry. I'm going to grab this small brush right here, grab this bamboo brush, get a little bit of this green right here. I don't splatter much in green, but I kind of like it. Maybe this is a sign of him going into the... And then maybe I'll just grab a little bit of blue on his tail right here and go in here and grab some of this. All right, I will sign it right here. All right, so I'm going to post both of these later today. That one, and I'm picking it up so very carefully. This one, I love this Roo. Man, did he turn out well. And look, it sounds like I'm bragging about him, but these are the surprises in watercolor that I want to push you to in saying, you know what? I bet I can find my voice. I bet I can find my style. I bet I can find my character. You don't need to paint roosters. I got that, and about 1 million other people. If you love them, paint them. But my point is, start to develop your own style and what it is you want to paint. If they're bouquets, if they're flowers, if they're pets, if they're animals, if they're seashells, if they're landscape. Look at this, what it does for landscape. I love the water because it gives me the hard lines and the breaks. You see that right there? That cannot be brushed. That's just discovered when you use watercolor like you get to use watercolor. Hey, I will see you Monday morning, Lord willing. I'll post these later today after I go celebrate a granddaughter's birthday. And I'll be back here. And I don't even know. Oh, there it is right there. Even on my desk, I've still got my harmonica. So, blessings. I'll go through the post a little later today. And if you got a question or two, I'll try to answer those. You can go to roodoodles.com if you're interested in a book or a cup. You can also, on this site, on my Facebook page, there's a thing that's called Flowdesk, Flodesk. It's where you subscribe to any newsletter or any upcoming events or Carol's shortbread recipes or even my color list of things that I use, okay? So I've got to blow this harmonica before I eat this piece of shortbread because that would be really ugly. All right, blessings to you. Have a blessed Saturday.